Good afternoon, morning, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support for BNI Connect here in North America. Also handle training and documentation for BNI Connect, and I'd like to welcome everybody today for this presentation of the BNI Connect social media components. What we're going to go over today is a lot of the things that allow you to interact with other BNI members from around the world using the system that we have here. BNI Connect has really enabled us to do things such as make connections with BNI members worldwide, to have global one-to-ones with people, and to be able to have an internal messaging system between all of your connections. And we're going to go through some of the tips, tricks, and techniques for doing that. This is a webinar, so we are presenting this live. If you have any questions as we're going along through, there's a couple of ways that we can handle that. The first way is if you raise your hand using the software. If you're connected to this webinar and you have a microphone on your computer, I'd be happy to open up your microphone if you'd like to make any comments, questions, suggestions. Also, there's a chat and question interface that's part of this software. You're welcome to type your questions as we're going along. I do monitor the questions as the webinar is progressing. So if it's something that we're discussing at the time, I'm happy to insert the question and ask it. If it's something related to some other part of the system, we should have plenty of time, about 10-15 minutes at least, at the end of this webinar to answer all your questions. And as always, I am happy to, although this webinar is scheduled for approximately 1 hour, I'm happy to stay on the call as long as you guys have questions on any part of the system. So why don't we get started? The first thing I'd like to show you is part of the social media aspect is really making sure that you have your BNI Connect profile fully up to date. And there's a big reason for that, and that is that people are looking for you. People are looking to connect with you, both people inside the system, other BNI members that are looking for you worldwide, but also people outside of the system. And we can also use it internally to really boost along that whole VCP thing, the visibility plus credibility equals profitability. I'm going to show you one quick example, and that is one thing that you may or may not know is that on your regional website, you have a page that displays all of your information. Let me show you what that looks like. If I go to my regional website, now this is on the public internet, and I go to find a member, and I go find myself here, what you'll see is this is your page that's open to the public, that's hosted on BNI Connect, and every single member in the world using the system has one of these. And it displays a whole bunch of information, contact information, a picture, your social media links, a way to send an email, information about your business, what good referrals are for you. Unfortunately, not everybody has taken the time to fill this out, and something happened to me a couple of months ago. I'm sitting here in my office, and a client walked in to my office, and I'm sitting here working on BNI Connect, and they asked me for a referral. I'm still a chapter member. I've been a chapter member here in Rhode Island for about 11 years. And he said, listen, I have an in-house bookkeeper, but she needs some lessons on some advanced things in QuickBooks. Do you have anybody you can recommend me to help her out with that? And I said, oh, that's awesome. How often does a referral just fall in your lap like that? And I have somebody in my chapter. His name is Glenn Zabolis, and I figured, hey, this is a great way to use BNI Connect. I can look up his profile and hand off the information to this client right away, right here. So I looked up Glenn, and he's standing here looking over my shoulder. And what I really wanted to do was print out this page for my client so that he could take this information back with him. Unfortunately, this is all I had. And actually, at the time, it didn't even have a picture. All it has is his name, the city, and a one-liner about his business. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't really give all the contact information I was hoping to give. I wanted to print out this sheet on my printer. My business card binder was sitting on the front seat of my car, so what I ended up doing is pulling out my cell phone, getting his phone number, and writing it down on a yellow sticky note. Conversely, if Glenn was doing the same thing for me, as you saw with my profile, it has a lot more information that can really help that VCP process, that referral process, along a little bit. The person would have had my picture, would have had all of my phone numbers, my website address, my physical address, all my social media links, and more information about my business. Now, this information is really easy to update. We do have a whole webinar dedicated to this, but I'm going to show you guys real quick where that stuff is. In BNI Connect, once you've logged in, just click on this My Account button. And the information that's up here on the public website is obviously your name and company. This information right here, the My Business information, is what displays here on your personal page in this bluish gray box here. Now, when you make changes to this, it is immediate. So, for example, if I was to take out this line about computer support networking and put in something like, "It's great to be on the webinar today," as soon as I click Update, the next person that goes to this page, if I just hit refresh here, you'll see that this information is updated immediately. So there's no delay, there's no waiting. You just have to get this information in there and saved. The rest of this information is going to come from, obviously, on your contact detail page, your phone numbers, your website, and make sure it has that http:// in front of it, your social media links, and your address. And if you don't want your address to appear, what I'd recommend doing is just taking out the first line of your address and putting in something like private or by appointment only. And that way, if you would like to keep your home address private, they'll still see the rest of your contact information. And then finally, on the Bio tab, you definitely want to take time to fill out all of your bio, but from a public visibility standpoint, the most important thing to fill out is this TOPS profile. And this TOPS profile is exactly what shows up down here. So your first line of business is really make sure you get your My Business filled out, your TOPS profile, get a picture up there, and make sure your contact information is all squared away. Now, one of the things that you're probably going to look to do right away from a social media aspect is to connect with people. And the way that you're going to connect with people is to search for them. The way to search for people is by going into this magnifying glass. So if we click on the magnifying glass, this is going to take us to the search function. And here you can search for active BNI members around the world. And the way we do that is by looking for their name, their keyword, what country they're in, and the rest of this information is kind of optional. So let's say that I was looking for, we have somebody on the call today, his name is Tony Wolf. If I wanted to connect with Tony Wolf and I knew that I wanted to connect with him, here's how I do that. I would type in Tony Wolf. And I just click enter, or I click on the search members button. And this is going to pull up Tony's profile. So it's telling me that he's in the Profit Promoters of Downtown Louisville chapter from Paradigm Marketing. Now, if I'm not sure who he is, or let's say that I pulled up a longer list of people, I could find out more about him by clicking on his profile. I'm going to right-click on it and choose it, Open in New Tab, so that I can keep my search here. And this is Tony, and I can see some information about his business and his social media links and his website and kind of decide if I want to connect with him. I do want to connect with Tony, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add Tony Wolf to my connections. This will send Tony a message saying, "Hey, I'd like to connect with you. Please accept my connection." I'm not going to hit send yet, because there's another way that you can connect with people. Now, if I go back to this search page, if I already know that it's Tony and I want to connect with him, I can also just click this plus button here. Now, this plus button will only show up if you're not connected with the person already. So here I'm going to go ahead and click to add Tony to my connections. You can personalize this message. Once I click Submit, this will then notify Tony that I've wanted to connect with him. and it brings us back to the search function. Now, you may not always know the person's name, and that's where you're probably going to start looking via keyword. Now, when we go back to thinking about keywords, the keywords are defined by you. So you need to really think about what you're putting in for your keywords. Now, the place that you put your keywords, let's go back to the My Account settings for a second. So I'm going to click on My Account. And if we scroll down to the bottom, there's a section here that says keywords, comma, separated. And this is where you really want to take some time to think about how people are going to be searching for you. So just like Google keywords and any other keywords that you might put in other social media things, you have control over what you're going to be searched by. And it's important to do this because you're going to stand out a little bit more than other people who haven't taken the time to fill out their keywords. Let me show you a quick example of that. One of my keywords is computer support. Now, these keywords work in both places. They work in the question and the magnifying glass that's here, but they're also the same keywords that people are using when they're searching for you on the internet. And we notice one of my keywords here is computer support. So I'm going to show you what, if I search for computer support here on my regional website, so let's say that somebody is looking for a computer support person. They know and they trust BNI, so they'd like to use a BNI person. They're going to use a keyword to search. And if I click Find, it's going to find me because that's one of my keywords. Now, there's two other people that also have used that computer support keyword, so they're going to find all three of us. Now, where our region is about 65 chapters, I'm relatively certain that there are more than 3 people that do computer support in the region. But unfortunately, those other people haven't put computer support into the keywords of their profile. So just to give you an example, if I do find a member and instead I do the drop down for computers, I'm going to find a list of about 68 people. So it's really important to take some time, pick some keywords. One thing I might suggest is to do a one-to-one with people in your contact sphere and find out, just ask them. Sometimes we're a little blind to the things that are happening to ourselves, and just say, hey, if you were looking for me on the internet, what would you search in? What keywords would you use to try to find me? And maybe consider putting those in as your keywords. So in the system, it works the same way. So if I was to type in computer support here, I could search all of the people in the United States that have computer support as their keywords. And it looks like we come up with a list of approximately 64 people that have put computer support in as their keyword. And again, if I think I want to connect to some of these people, I can click on their name to check out their profile, or I could click the plus button if I know that I want to connect with them. One thing you may not know also is that you can search by email address within this particular field as well, even though it doesn't say it. And where this could come in handy is if you happen to know somebody's email address, but it also searches partial email address. So if you happen to be searching for somebody, let's say that you're somebody that might deal in insurance, and you're looking for all of the financial advisors that work for Edward Jones, for example. You can put in at edwardjones.com in here and click on Search Members. And what this will do is pull up all the people in the United States that work for Edward Jones. So you can get creative with the searching. Someday we're hoping to have a more Google-like search, but right now you do have to know some specifics about the people that you are searching for. The profession drop-down works the same way. You will have to put in another piece of information if you'd like to use this. So if I wanted to search for, let's say, computer people in Arizona, I could do a search for people that way as well. Now this is going to pull up a pretty long list of about 52 people. If you wanted to further filter the list without having to go back and do searches each time, you can also use this secondary search function. And this is really a filter search that allows you to quickly kind of mine the data that you've collected, especially if you happen to come with a really long list of hundreds and hundreds of people. You can use this secondary search to filter out the results. So maybe I want to search for people in Phoenix. I could start typing Phoenix and it's going to filter it down, and I can go in and I can remove that and it'll repopulate the list without losing my original search. Now another way that you can connect with people is by looking at their connections. So you can go through, and similar to LinkedIn where you can look at the people's first level connections, their second level connections, and they kind of stop you there, but in BNI you can actually do this infinitely. So let's go to my profile quick and take a look at my connections. So here, if you would like to look at your own profile as other people might see it, all the way at the bottom of the screen there's a link here that says Profile. And this is going to take me to my personal profile. And what I can do is look at my connections, which is the third tab here. And I know that I just connected with Tony Wolf a few minutes ago, who's on the call with us today. If I wanted to, I know Tony, but I may not know a lot of people that's in his area in Louisville. So if I scroll down and I find Tony in my list of connections, and here he is in Kentucky, I can now look at Tony's profile. And I can look at his connections. Now, if there's people here that I'd also like to connect to, for example, I know this person. So if I click on the link to her profile, I now see an ability to add her to my connections. And the same thing applies. We can send a connection request, and Ms. Jackson will get that in her email and hopefully accept me. So, Lindy, I know that you asked a question a few minutes ago. If you don't know a person's name, did that answer your question in finding people that you don't know the name? If not, I'd be happy to follow up with an additional solution for you. Excellent. Thank you, Lindy. Does anybody else have any questions on how to find connections? If so, I'd be happy to answer those questions at this time. So, and again, you can start looking through people's additional connections and drill down even further to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth level connections to find people to connect to around the world. Now, once you've connected with people, you probably want to go in and start working with your connections. And the way to do that is through the connections interface. So you can access that a couple of ways. If you're in another screen in BNI Connect, you can always click on the Network Connections tab. You can also go back to your landing page, your home screen, and click on the Manage button under this Connections tile here. And this will bring you to the Connections interface. And here you're going to see your list of connections, almost like an address book or a contacts form. You can search through your connections here once you start getting many connections. You can also just scroll through them. Now, even if you've never gone through and found anybody, you will automatically be connected to the people in your chapter. Those are connections that happen automatically in the system. So as new members join your chapter, you will be automatically connected to those people by default. And as people leave your chapter, they will be automatically removed from your connections. For people that are in your chapter, what you'll notice is you can't forcibly delete that connection. That is something that happens automatically by the system. When you click on one of your connections, you'll see some various options. You'll see a modified, a shortened version of their profile with their contact information and some options on what different things that you can communicate with that person. So you can send them a message. You can ask them to give you a testimonial. You can give them a testimonial. You can view their full profile, or you can remove them from your connections. And again, chapter members, that option will not be there for members of your chapter. Before I go on, I do see a question here, a couple of questions. Gunther asks, which fields will be searched when I put something in the keyword search? So when you do something in the keyword search here, and I'm going to go back to this, it's basically going to search the name, the email address, and the keywords. So those are the three fields that it searches against when you're putting stuff into this name and keyword field. And then we have a question from JJ. JJ asks, is the BNI Connect searchable from the outside world or only from BNI members searching for other BNI members? There are two places that you search. One is a public search that anybody in the world can search. And then there's a second place that only people that are logged in to BNI Connect, in other words, only BNI members can search. So this interface here, when we're going to bniconnect.com and we log in, this interface here is a global search of BNI members accessible only by BNI members. If you go out on the internet and you go to a regional website, such as bniri.com, which is my particular region, or someplace like BNI Massachusetts or BNI Idaho, all the different regions have their own website. That's searchable by anybody in the world. So anybody that might be Googling or anybody that might be visiting the regional website would be able to search for members within that region. Now the difference is when you search on a regional website, you're only searching the people that are within that particular region. So searching here only pulls up results of people that are in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. If you're in the Indiana region or in the Kentucky region, it's only going to search for people that are in that particular region. If you're searching within the system, you're a BNI member, then you will be able to search for anybody around the world, although you do search one country at a time. Manish asks, hopefully, JJ, that answers your question. Manish asks, in case of public search, will the contact data not be exposed to anybody? So looking at different searches here, again, if I go back to my public profile here, you can choose which information you want shared. Now, if you are fully sharing everything, it's going to share your phone numbers and your physical address and your social media links. If you'd like to turn that off, you can. And there's also the possibility for them to send you an email. Now, one thing to note is your email address is never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever shared publicly. So that information, if people send you an email through this system, they do have to enter a CAPTCHA, which means that we don't allow scripted robots to send you a whole bunch of spam. But they're still able to get an email message to you. Now, this information, again, is cached by Google. So Google does, with their search engine optimization things, they do go and they can see this information. So people can search for you. So hopefully that answers your question there, Manish. Fred asks, when I search a keyword that I have for myself, should I be able to see myself in the results? Yes, Fred, you should be able to find yourself in the results when you have your own keyword entered, both on the public site and on the inside. But one thing to know is that each search term in between the commas is treated as a single term. So for example, I had computer support, comma, in there. So I wouldn't pull up for just computer and I wouldn't pull up for just support. I would pull up for the search term computer support. And Lindy asks if I go to the main website, BNI.com. BNI.com is the corporate headquarters website, which is not a BNI connected website. So going back to the connections interface, I think I grabbed all of the questions there. Again, we can do different things. Now, when people go to connect to you, and if anybody wants to try to find me within BNI Connect and give it a test, what's going to happen is you are going to get a received request. And this is the emails that I talked about of people that are connected to you. And see that some people that just asked questions, as a matter of fact, you guys have sent me connection requests. Thank you very much, and I'd love to connect with you. Now, you'll also get a notification in your email letting you know. So I happen to be logged into BNI Connect about 15 hours a day because that's my job. But some of you may not be logged into BNI Connect quite that much. So you will get a notification if you choose to in your personal email as well. Let me show you what one of those invitations looked like. And this is the one from Mickey, who was connecting with me, who has sent me a connection request. He was the first one on my list there. And this is the email that I received to accept his connection. So it's let me know that I've received a connection request from Mickey and that I do need to log back into BNI Connect in order to accept the connection. And I can see that he has sent me a personal message. And I'm going to go back to BNI Connect now. And you can see that I have Mickey's connection request here. Now I can either reject it, ignore it, or accept it. You can also click on Read Message if you do want to see the personalized message that I received. So I'm going to go ahead and accept Mickey's request. And now he will be listed in my connections. So Lindy asks, can these requests and messages be sent to my email address as well as BNI Connect? And yes, they can. And here's how you do that. So again, we're going to go back to the My Account settings. I'm going to show you where you can customize how and where you get these connection requests. So here I am on the My Account settings. And what I need to do is go to this icon that looks like a gear that says Account Settings. This controls a lot of your preferences within BNI Connect. And if we scroll down to the bottom, you will see the email forwarding preferences. And you have a bunch of options. So if you want to receive messages, the email portion, the in-mail portion of BNI Connect to your personal email address, you can choose to do that, as well as to receive a copy of your sent items to your personal email address. You can see that I have my forward my connection requests to my personal email. So that's the email that I just showed you. I have that set to yes. You can also receive a copy of connection requests that you send out to your contacts. You can get that to your email address. And the bottom one is opt out of optional emails. And what that is if your regional office is sending emails out through the system, such as event reminders and things along those lines, if they have deemed that an optional email and you have chosen to opt out of optional emails, you won't get those emails. By default, it's going to send this to whatever email address is listed on your profile. Now, if you happen to have a separate email address, maybe you have a business email address, but you don't want to receive these notifications emails to your business address, and you have a Gmail address or a Yahoo address or something like that, you can opt to receive those emails to someplace else. And if so, you can put in a secondary email into this field, and that will override your email address that's within your profile. If you want to receive them to your regular email address, you can just leave this blank. So hopefully that answers your question, Lindy. And Jayesh asks if I want to add my signature to the invitations. Unfortunately, that's not a customizable template. When you go to connect with somebody, if you'd like to erase what's there and put your own information in there, you can. But by default, it's going to be a very simple message that's based on the template there. So hopefully that helps. So that's how we manage our connections. Now, when you're connected to people, there's some things that you may want to do with them. One of the great things to do is to help to build people's credibility, right? We talk about visibility, credibility, and profitability a lot in BNI, and one of the ways we do that is by giving testimonials in the meeting, but we can also give testimonials through BNI Connect. And the way we do that is by going to our connections and giving somebody a testimonial. So I do see that we have, again, Tony is on the line with us today, and I'm going to very quickly give Tony a testimonial. And the way I do that is by clicking on Tony within my connections, and I'm going to give Tony a testimonial. And you just simply write out your testimonial here. Hey, Tony, is it just do or go do? I always get that confused. I think it's go do. So I'm going to keep this short, although Tony is a great guy to know. If you haven't connected with him, please go look him up and make him a connection. And I'm going to submit this testimonial to Tony. Now, if there's anybody else on the line here that wants to very quickly do a testimonial to me once you've connected to me, I'd love to see that. And once I've given a testimonial to somebody else, they do have to accept that testimonial and show it on their profile. So what we do for that is we need to go into our testimonials section. And that is accessed by clicking on Network, Testimonials. And here we can see the testimonials that we've received. We can review them by going in. We can delete them, and we can also choose whether or not we want to display them on our profile. From here, we can also review if we've requested a testimonial from somebody. We can remind them. And we can also review the testimonials that we've given to other people. So if you don't have any testimonials, you won't have anything listed here. As Fred. So you wouldn't have any testimonials listed here, or you wouldn't have any testimonials there. You also, if on the home screen, you'll see your testimonials listed here, and you can also get in there by clicking on the Manage button that's in that particular tile on the home screen. Now, where your testimonials show up to other people is on your profile. There is this thumbs up screen. And this testimonial screen, as people are looking for you in BNI Connect, they will see your testimonials listed. Do we have any other questions on testimonials? There's one other place that you may want to consider. I do get this question a lot from people that say, hey, I receive testimonials from clients that I'd like to put into BNI Connect. So the place to do that is there is a picture gallery that is attached with your profile as well. And the place to get there is to go to Network, Picture Gallery. So if we go to our picture gallery, this is the place where you can share pictures, but it's also a great place to share testimonials that you may receive from clients. You know, for example, I have a couple uploaded here. Here's a testimonial that we received about BNI Connect that I turned into a JPEG, so I just saved it as a picture file, and then I uploaded it into my photo gallery. And here's another example. If you happen to read German, you'd be able to read this one. And I uploaded this into the system as an example of how to put a testimonial onto your profile that might come from one of your clients. Now, the way to do that is by going to the picture gallery, Network Picture Gallery, and clicking on the Upload button. Once you get to the Upload button, just click on the magnifying glass, and this will bring up a system dialog to allow you to go look into your computer and find a picture. Once it uploads, you can crop the image if you'd like, or you can give it a title and a description. Once you click Submit, it will now become part of your picture gallery. And again, that works for pictures, but it also works for if you have testimonials, scan them in, or if it comes in an email, just save it as some type of a picture file, either a PNG or a JPEG file, and you'll be able to upload it into this picture gallery. And that way, when people are looking at your profile, once you have one photo up there, you will be able to look at your photos, and they'll be able to view the testimonials. Manish asks, will the client testimonials be visible to the general public through search? And no, the testimonials are not right now included on the public websites. They're just on the inside of the system. So that might be something that we consider for a future enhancement. It would be great if you submitted that as a suggestion at some point, and we can bring that before the project team. I'd appreciate that. Fred says, mine doesn't say testimonials, it says recommendations. Yes, that is, BNI Connect is written in 42 languages, including about 7 different versions of English. So depending on your language setting, there are some things within the system that are different in different languages. Gunther says, can you link the picture testimonials to the testimonials tab? Unfortunately, no. That is not something that we can do at this time. Although, again, that would make a great suggestion. Gunther asks, will there be a chance to upload documents as testimonials? Right now, we can only upload picture files. So you would need to basically save it or print it out, so to speak, as a picture file. We have any other questions? Is there a location where you can post a link to outside websites where testimonials are posted? To be completely honest with you, I haven't tried that, but I suppose that if somebody was to put a link into the testimonial itself, it would appear as a live link. That is a great thing that I'd love to test out at some point. I don't think that point's ever been raised before, so thank you for that, Lisa. And Fawn says you can always take a screenshot of your testimonial and save it as a picture. It's a great point. Thank you very much, Fawn. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you, if we are good on testimonials and the photo gallery, is the groups functionality. And the groups functionality is really the way that you can connect with people worldwide and have conversations with people. Now, the place to access this, of course, we can always go through Network and go to Groups, and also on your landing page, there's the Groups functionality here as well. So I'm going to go to Network Groups. And you can see all of the groups that are available in BNI Connect. Now, by default, it's going to sort the groups by the ones with the most recent activity. And if we scroll down just a little bit, we'll see that currently there are 1,853 groups in BNI Connect on a broad range of topics. Now, these are all people that have been having conversations and dialogues globally. If you find one that you like, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can either just go through page by page and take a look through them and see if there's any groups that you would like to join. So if there's a group that you'd like to join, you just click on this Join Group button. Once you join the group, you're able to make comments in the group, you're able to post topics in the group, and you'll also get notifications via email of any activity that happens in the group. You can also search for groups by using this magnifying glass on the Groups function. You can choose whether you want to search just the title, or the topics, or the posts, or if you know the person that created the group, you can search by the creator of the group as well. So if I wanted to search by the title of the groups, and I wanted to search for, I don't know, let's say social media, I can now find about 22 groups in BNI Connect that have social in the title and description. So either in the title or it's going to be in the description portion of it. So this looks like it's a pretty active group. It was created in 2011. Tells us a little bit about the group and the number of posts and topics and then 328 participants. And the last post was in 9/11, a couple of days ago. I think I'm going to join this group. And once you do that, are you sure you want to join? And yes. Now, this is going to bring us back to my groups, and now we can see the number. I'm joined to 14 groups right now. And you notice that this changed from my groups to public groups. Now, this is a toggle switch. So if I click on my groups, now this brings me back to the full list of 1,853. And if I click back on my groups, it'll bring me back to just the 20 or so, or the 14 or so that I'm connected to. Once you're a part of the group, the best thing to do is to start interacting with that group. So now that I've joined the social media group, I may want to go in and participate in the discussions, but I'm part of a test group as well right now. So what I'd like to do is to go and test within that group. And this is a test group that we've set up. And once you're in that group, you'll see that there's topics in here. You can click on the topic to start reading the posts, the conversation about that topic. If you'd like to post a new message in regards to the topic, just click on Post. You can type your message in, and click Submit. If you're the admin of a group, or if the group allows it, you can also create all new topics by clicking on Add New Topic. A description of the topic, and you click Submit. If a topic hasn't had any activity and you don't need it anymore, you can actually go in and delete the topic. Again, if you're the owner of the group or an administrator of the group. Now, Lindy asks, will I only be able to see the updated info of my group if I'm logged into BNI Connect, or it will notify me by email as well? Now, Lindy, this is actually a brand new update that happened just about a month ago. And again, let's go back to our settings. So if I go back to my Account button and I go to the Account Settings tab, there's a section here for Group Post Email Notifications. And this is where you decide if you want to only be notified when you're in the system, or if you'd also like to be notified when you are logged out of BNI Connect. You have a couple of options. You can choose to be notified every time there's activity in the group, which is my preference. So this is a live dialogue. My opinion is I want to be part of that dialogue. So anytime that a post happens, I'd like to know about it so that I have the opportunity to respond immediately to it. You can be notified once per day. So every day what you'd get is an email for each of the groups that you are participating in that have activity, and I'll give you a daily digest of all the activity in that group. You can choose to be notified once per week, or you can choose to opt out of emails altogether for the group notifications. Now, this email forwarding, this would apply to the group posts as well. So if you'd like to get that in a separate email address other than maybe your business address, again, you can put that in there, and it will apply to the group posts as well as to the rest of the notifications. Now, that will send you an email. Let me show you what one of those emails looks like. And let me get switched over to this other screen. Now, this is I just put that test post into our test group up on BNI Connect, and this is what I received immediately. And it does come usually within seconds of the activity happening. We can see that it was added into the group name test group under the topic New Features. Tells us who posted it, when they posted it, and what the actual message was. This link right here, click here to read more, will take us directly to that topic of conversation so you can continue in the conversation. One thing to know is that this is a non-responsive email, so replying to the message does not post anything. You do need to log into BNI Connect and do the post directly into the system. So going back to the groups, Johanna asks, what are the benefits of joining group conversations? Well, the biggest benefit is that you get to converse with people that are in BNI from around the world. So again, just like doing one-to-ones with people in your chapter, this is really getting to know people in BNI around the world. Now, they could be in the same contact sphere as you. They could be doing exactly what you do. And it's really a way to share information back and forth with people. So it could be talking about breaking trends in the industry. It could be talking about social activities. But either way, it's building. This is the relationship builder portion of BNI Connect for people that you may not be connected to automatically within BNI Connect. Does that make sense, Joanna? Okay, the other thing that you can do is if you want to, you can create up to 7 of your own groups in BNI Connect. And the way to do that is I'm going to go back to the start of the groups function. And you'll see here the opportunity to add a group to BNI Connect. Once you do that, you're presented with some options that you have to choose. You have to come up with a group name. So let's call this one BNI Connect Webinar. You can then choose the access type that you want this group to have. So you can make it to be an information-only group, so people can only view things within that group. Or you can make it a view and post group, which is what most of them are. You want to have that dialogue back and forth. What type of group do you want to have? An open group, and this may lead back to your question from before, Fred, about searching. You only got 2 groups. This, it can be an open group, an invite-only group, or a members can invite group. An open group means that when people search for it, they're going to find it. An invite-only group is going to be hidden from the general public in searches. So you'd have to invite people into that group. And if it's a members can invite, once members do become part of the group, they can invite people in. So it's kind of a secret group, so to speak. And to answer your question from before, Fred, the reason that you may have only seen 2 groups and I got 22 is that some of those groups may be private invite-only groups, but because I'm a system administrator, I do see everything in the system. So hopefully that answers your question there, Fred. And then group descriptions is going to be, what is this group about? So I'm just going to type a quick description in there. What language is going to be the primary language for the group? So that people that are searching groups from other countries, they may be, such as myself, monolingual, and I only want to search against English-based groups. And you can directly invite your contacts right at the time that you create it. So if you create a group, you can invite people right away to it. Once you submit that group, it will create the group for other people to join. Now, I'm not going to create this group right now, but once you become a moderator of the group, you'll then be able to have the moderator functions that you see here, such as being able to edit and delete topics or posts. And you'll also be able to see the participants. And if there's somebody that's abusive in the group, as a moderator, you can remove people from that group. Or if there's somebody that you'd like to help you out with the group, you can also promote them to be a moderator. So, but to do that, you would just click on the Assign a Role, and you can choose to make them a moderator. Now that person would end up having the additional controls, such as editing and deleting and moderating the topics. So that covers the social media aspects of BNI Connect. I do want to open it up to questions. While you guys are coming up with additional questions, I'm going to ask you guys for 2 favors. And the first of which is, if you can, on Facebook.com, we do have another social media thing, and that is our BNI Connect Global Facebook page. If you could go to facebook.com/BNI Connect Global and give us a like. We do webinar announcements up here. We also do release announcements and tips and tricks and various other things. So please interact with us there. If you like the webinar, drop us a testimonial on the Facebook site or within BNI Connect itself. That would be great. And the second thing is, if you have questions after the webinar ends today, we are always happy to help you here and answer your questions. The way to get there is in BNI Connect. You see a little question mark up here in the right-hand corner. Click on it. It'll bring you to support.bniconnect.com. Now, you don't have to be logged in. You can go directly to support.bniconnect.com as well. And this is going to bring you to the support page. You can search our support site for great help articles and walkthroughs. It also has our list of all the upcoming webinars for the month, which are also, if you're in the United States, on your regional calendars. And then if you scroll down, there's a bunch of forums and trainings. In the training section specifically, you'll find walkthroughs for how to do just about everything in BNI Connect. For example, if you've ever wondered how to easily email your chapter, there's under the training section under chapter operations. Here's a great walkthrough for how to get all of the email addresses in your chapter very quickly. There's also plenty of other walkthroughs, and if you ever want to review the other webinars, we have many of the webinars posted right on this help site in the member webinars section. And you can watch them right through there, or you can watch them full screen in your browser as well. We also have videos and documents and all sorts of stuff up there to help you through. And if we haven't answered your question through there, just click on Submit a Request up here on the top, and this will send an email to our support team that will allow us to help you out with any questions that you have. Some things do need to be handled by your regional office, such as dealing with membership fees and things like that. But if we can't help you, we will definitely make sure that you know who to get in touch with so that they can help you out. So we're right at the top of the hour. I would be happy to stay on this call as long as people have questions. And I see one other question in here from Jayesh. He asks, the reports when generated in Excel format are very uncomfortable for data merging or sorting because of merged fields. And this is actually something that we are hoping to take a look at in the next release, which is coming out in mid to late October, early November, is to reformat those Excels so that they're not so that they don't have any more merged fields. So hopefully we'll get that fixed for you in the next version. Thank you. Excellent. If we don't have any other questions, I'm going to thank everybody for their time today. Thank you very much for being here and being a part of this. If you liked this webinar, we are holding about 15 webinars a month on various aspects of the system, and we'd love for you to go back to your chapter. A good referral for me is to get somebody else from your chapter onto this webinar, get more people onto BNI Connect so that we're really expanding our global network. Thank you so much, everybody, and happy connecting.